What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. It is a beautiful November day here, and we want to take full advantage of it. So what we're going to be doing is planting our fall garlic that we'll harvest next summer. The more you sow, the more you reap. Let's go! If you've never grown garlic before, then you may be wondering why I'm getting ready to plant it right before the winter comes. But for most gardeners, this time of year is actually the perfect time to get your garlic in. If you're like me and live in an area that has a hard frost, then a good time to plant your garlic is after the autumn equinox. But more specifically, the best time to plant your garlic, in my opinion, is about 2 weeks after your first fall frost and right before, or a little bit before, your ground actually freezes. Because what you want to happen is you want to put this garlic in the ground, you want it to root so it can hold itself in the ground and the ground freezing doesn't lift it up, but you don't also want really any vegetation growing up top because that's just going to die off in the winter. Where you get your garlic from will play a large role on how well it grows. I've seen a number of people say that they've just use store-bought garlic. They root that and it grows well for them, but I highly suggest not doing that for a number of reasons. One of them is you're not going to get the right variety you want for your particular location. You're just going to get whatever the store has. Another reason is those stores sometimes spray sprout inhibitors and something to prohibit the garlic from actually rooting. So if you do put it in the ground, the likelihood you get great germination will be relatively small, even if you get the organic garlic. What you want to do is get good garlic from a reputable company and make sure you get the correct varieties for your particular location. Garlic likes to grow in a fertile soil with high nutrition, a good amount of organic matter in there. So if you're like me and you're in a sandy soil, you may need to bring in some compost just to bring up that organic matter content. 5% increase in organic matter brings like a 20% increase in water retention. So bringing in organic matter is always huge. This year, we're going to be planting our garlic similar to how we did last year. We're gonna do one row right here, and then a row of tomatoes, and then another row of garlic, and then continue that as we progress along down the garden a little further. The reason we're doing that is we're going to be using garlic not only as a food, but also as a tool in our garden to help keep some of those pests away, because garlic is just great for doing that. Also, we want to keep the tomatoes in the same location. That's why I kept the stakes up next year, because they like growing in the same spot every single year. The first thing I want to do is pull back all the wood chips in this row where the garlic's going to go in. Then I can easily just pop them into the ground. So let's just get all these wood chips pulled back, because as some of you may know or may not know, you don't plant into wood chips. Wood chips are just a mulch. They're not a growing medium. As you can see, this section here I had to dig a lot deeper to get down into the soil than over here, because the wood chips are just thicker in that area. We want to make sure we're planting into the soil. Let's grab our garlic and then just keep progressing. The first variety that I'm going to be planting is one that I purchased from a reputable company. This is called Metechi. It is a hardneck garlic, and there's a couple different kinds of garlic. I'll explain it further as the video progresses, but first I want to show you how to plant everything. So this is the Metechi garlic. When it comes to these cloves, the bigger the clove, the bigger the garlic clove you're going to get next year. So you want to plant the biggest, healthiest cloves. What you want to do is pop each clove off just like this. Here's one separate clove. We're going to plant that on its own. And we're going to plant this one. You'll notice that one's bigger. We're going to take them all off and then pick the biggest, healthiest cloves. This is going to be root down. This flat side here is where everything's going to root from, so you want to face that down. This is where the scape, the vegetative growth is going to come from right here. So we're going to plant that down, but let's get digging into the ground a little bit. So we have this Metechi variety here. I'm just going to pop all these cloves off. And you could do this about a day or two before, no more than 2 days. You could take them off, let them sit, and kind of get them prepped for planting. So after we have all the largest ones, which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to line them up in the row exactly where they go. I'll let you know the spacing right after this. I separated the cloves and I picked all the largest ones. Now I'm going to go down the row and space them all out about 4 or 6 inches. This is just to give us a good spacing and let us know if we need any more than we have already. So we're just going to do that. And you want to make sure you have to keep these husks on. You don't want to take them off. So we'll just go down this line and space them out correctly.
I hope this old train breaks down, then I could take a walk around. You see, there's no time to see, 'cause time is just a melody.
Now let's get this garlic planted. I mentioned that garlic is a heavy feeder, and we have sandy soil here. So what we're going to be adding is some mushroom compost. We're going to be adding it while we're planting, and then also doing a nice top dressing over the top of it to help feed the nutrition as it starts growing and through spring. So let's get this planted. Again, we want to make sure that the flat side is planted down, 4 to 6 inches spacing, and we're going to plant them about 1 to 2 inches deep. So what we're going to do is just dig a little bit out, and then put some compost in there, and then get this flat side down, push it in about 2 inches or so, cover it up a little. Then we're going to come back through this row and cover it with some compost like that. Then next, we'll cover it with mulch, about 4 or 6 inches, a nice thick wood chip mulch. This is going to really help the garlic, keep it from freezing too badly, and allow it to grow a little bit through the winter, allow it to get those roots into the ground so the frost doesn't push it up and heave it out.
The window's got a view, but the frame I look through seems to have no concern for now. For now, I need this here old train to break down. Oh, please just let me please break down.
Okay, we got everything all planted, and now we're just covering this section with some compost. This is the mushroom compost. And it's more like a mulch even than a soil, so they'll be able to get through this really easily once spring comes. Okay, we got that row of garlic all planted, covered it with a nice layer of compost. Next, we're gonna cover the whole layer with wood chips. Before we do that though, make sure you get your stakes in, or some way to label where you planted. Once you cover this with the wood chips, it's gonna be hard to know where you put everything in. So we've got one stake here that we're gonna leave all winter until spring, and then I'm gonna put another one over there, and we're gonna make sure we label the varieties as well. That's important. Next, we're just gonna cover it all with wood chips, a nice thick layer of wood chips. And this is to help insulate them through the winter, but most likely we'll come by and pull back some of these wood chips when spring comes, because if the wood chips are too thick, that's gonna prevent the ground from heating up, and that's gonna make our garlic basically sprout later. So one of the reasons we plant it this time in fall is so that we can get the garlic up and growing as early in spring as possible. So we'll just make sure we get a nice thick layer of wood chips on everything. That'll help keep it all winter. Just gonna finish this row up by covering it with some wood chips, some low spots. Looks good. Now I'm gonna stick this stake in at the end just to mark the row where I planted the last one, which is right here. And then I'll put the variety, the Metechi, right here. That brings me to something I wanted to talk about, and it has to do with different kinds of garlic. There are basically 2 different kinds of garlic. We've got the soft neck and we've got the hard neck. The one I planted right behind me was a hard neck. This I have right in my hand here. This is a soft neck, a variety that I grew last year, Nootka Rose. So I saved the garlic from this one, the cloves, and I'll replant it in the next row there. But some of the main differences between the soft neck and the hard neck is the hard neck is going to be more winter hardy. That's going to be the one you're going to want to grow in zones from about 3 to 10. When you're soft neck, that's only going to grow mostly in zones about 5 to 10. So in your warmer climates, the soft neck's going to be easier to grow. The hard neck's going to be, actually they say better tasting. And the main difference between the two really is the stem, the neck. So the hard necks are going to grow a stem around springtime into summer, and that's going to grow a scape and it's going to flower. The soft necks are not going to do that. When the scape comes, if you're growing the hard neck, like I'm growing right here with the Metechi, you want to make sure you cut that scape, that flower, out. It's going to be kind of twisting and it's going to have a circular stem. You want to remove that. You don't want any of those growth hormones going to producing seed. Instead, you want to focus all the growth on the cloves. So again, if you're up north, you're going to want to stick with the hard necks. If you're down south more, you're probably going to want to go with the soft necks. Where I'm at here, I can grow both. So I'm going to grow both of those varieties. But then there's an additional one, and that's what I'm growing this year is the elephant garlic. So this actually isn't even a true garlic. It's really actually a leek, but it's got nice big cloves like this. So we're going to be growing this one this year. I haven't tried it before, but the thing is just a monster. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to grow and a lot of fun to just try. So growing all these different kinds though, the way you plant them, it's going to be the same for all. For all you growers watching, I know a lot of you love seeing Tuck, so I don't think it'd be a true James Prigioni video without him. Come on, Tucky. I let him in. He was in here with us before, but he was just, it's funny because when I film a lot of times, I'll be sitting here looking straight at the camera, and Tuck always wants to look at me, so his butt is always on the film. So that's pretty funny. Hey boy. Looks like he's got some ragweed seed on him. Saw some seed from the ragweed. Looks like it went to seeds on his face a little bit there. We'll see if he wants any snacks though. Want some snacks, boy? Maybe he'll want one of these giant pieces of a kale. He usually likes the stems on him. Tuck, what's this, boy? So he likes his broccolis and stuff. So he'll probably like this. Sometimes I think it's a combination not only of like liking the flavor and stuff, but just liking to chew on the stuff, especially things like this. I would assume it feels good on his teeth. See, it looks like more now that he's just kind of, oh, he's eating it some there. So I guess he does enjoy it. I'll eat the leaves, I'll save the stalks for Tuck. It's funny though, if I bought this from the food store, there's no way he would be eating this. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you're encouraged to get out there, plant some of your own garlic, especially at this time of year. The last thing people are doing is planting things. They're tying up their gardens. They're getting rid of most of the stuff. You know, they're done with gardening. It's out of their mind. They're not going to think about it again until next spring. Not us. Not the true growers. Not the ones that are out here in the cold, in the rain, getting things planted, investing for next year. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to check out the merch down low. Be a part of Team Grow. Tuck and James will be back at you real soon. We